Shalom family. So I had originally intended for a clip to be here at the very beginning of the video, but YouTube had other plans for me. So this is post-production. So what you're hearing right now is post-production, but as soon as this voice recording is over, we will get into the actual video. So if you're questioning why, what you talking about clip at the beginning, it's because I had a clip in the beginning, but YouTube is hitting me with the copyright. So I can't upload it with the clip. So unfortunately, I can't find anything to replace it with, any old footage or anything else. So it'll just be that. The clip will be there. I've already edited the rest of the video. So don't be confused. It's because YouTube is, they're holding me essentially. So yeah, thank you for your patience. I apologize for this. Hopefully I'll have something else in the future, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Shalom family. Hope everyone is staying blessed and doing well. This video, or this lesson rather, is going to be titled Avoiding Wicked Women. And you know, in order to avoid something, we have to understand it, right? That's why I put that clip in the beginning of Cowboy Bebop. You know, a legendary series, one of my favorite, you know, all-time greats, top 10 in my book. But the clip I decided to use was the first episode actually in the season, in the entire show, ironically. And you know, that small clip detailed the wickedness of the woman and of the man. You know, the scriptures state, paraphrasing of course, but the wicked woman will be given to a wicked man. You know, let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. And you know, it can be surmised or guessed or you know, assuaged that these two, you know, the man and the woman in that clip, they were robbing, stealing, and killing way before Spike even, you know, came into contact with him. You know, that's how he knew about the dude, because Spike is a bounty hunter. And you know, throughout the episode, Spike is just chit-chatting with her, chilling with her, or whatever. And you know, he ends up being beguiled by her beauty, not really paying attention to his surroundings, and you know, he thinking shit is sweet because he's just talking to her. Meanwhile, you know, he reveals too much about himself, or lets it be known that he is what he is. And, you know, he's looking at the whole time, not just carelessly, not thinking about it. And here comes the boyfriend coming up, and he damn near lost his life. I mean, that's real, you know. Too many men have been caught up by the wickedness of the woman, by being beguiled by her beauty and, you know, and her vanity, and they end up losing their life. So a lot of the times you dealing with a wicked woman, you could either lose your money, your time, or the worst part of your life. And a lot of those things you can't get back. As a matter of fact, all of those things you can't get back. You know, time is more precious than money, but time equals money. So all in all, they go hand in hand. You know, you also waste your energy, life force, your soul. That's where we get the succubus, right? The succubus isn't some mystical demon. It's just the demonic spirit or essence of a wicked woman. That's all it is. And when you decide to give your energy into this creature, you lose everything. You lose everything. And that's why it's important to understand this creature and to avoid it at all costs. You know, we have to vet. Whenever you're going to deal with a woman, you have to vet her. And, you know, a wise man once told me, it takes 5 years to get to know somebody. 5 years. So in that first month or two or whatever, first year, that's their ambassador, right? That's the person that they want you to believe that they are. And, you know, throughout the course, especially if you're in a relationship with a woman, throughout the course of that relationship, they'll begin to start taking off their masks and showing you who they really are. You know, as a matter of fact, honestly, when you first meet her or first talk to her, she shows you who she really is. Okay? That's probably the most honest moment you'll get out of a woman, is that first encounter and the first conversation you will have with her, because it'll let you know. She'll start sending off red flags to let you know what she's about, and it's up to you to pick up on it. You know, that way you can't be later on in a relationship talking about something. Oh, I didn't know she was doing X, Y, Z and all that. Nah, you knew. You just chose to ignore it because you were beguiled by her beauty. She had a fat ass, or you know, big breasts, or whatever the case, you know, slim figure, whatever it was, beautiful face. You know, let's be real. But the scriptures talk about, you know, not letting a woman beguile you by her beauty, not being taken by her beauty, right? So all in all, I said it to say, in the clip, you know, Spike he was entertaining her, and vice versa, she was entertaining him, you know. And she's wicked as well, because not only was she running around with a wicked man, and like I said beforehand, it can be guessed that, or assumed that, they were doing wickedness before that. You know, they were already on the news, you know, the cops were looking for them, so obviously they were already committing crimes before that. But she already had a man, and she was entertaining another man. You know, that's where that where it needs to be, that's what I'm looking for, where she needs to be moderated, right? You know, you can't just let, especially if it's your woman, you have to set boundaries. Now, this is not to say that you are quote unquote controlling her. She's free to do whatever she wants, but she has to understand what your rules and regulations are, and if she's not willing to follow them, she can go kick rocks with no socks. Okay, the door is open. You can you know, let her go. Don't sit here and try to force her to do anything, you know, get into vice with them. You don't do all that. If they're not willing to follow your program, you kick them to the curb. That's it. So as soon as he saw that, you know, and you know, he is a wicked man, so we'll leave it at that. But just for the sake of argument, as soon as he saw her conversating with Spike like that, he should have just been like, hey, I'm out, like, deuces, you know. And that's not to say that your woman can't talk to other men. I'm not saying that at all. It's more nuanced than that, right? If you see her talk to another man and she's showing choosing signals, right? Like she's, you know, flipping her hair back, or laughing a little bit too hard, or laughing too much. You're like, wait a minute, this bitch don't laugh at my jokes nearly as hard as this. You know, if you see all that, she's smiling a lot, you know, all the telltale signs that, you know, men know, okay? When she's doing shit like that, you know, you gotta watch out for that. The Bible tells you, you know, to watch out for an impudent eye, right? And marvel when she do not marvel when she trespass against you, right? You know, if she's sitting there, you know, looking at men, you know, she always has a roving eye, right? Whenever you walk down the street, she's looking at somebody a little bit too long, you know, that's a red flag. That's a red flag right there. And that's why you have to be aware. You know, that's not to say you got to be paranoid or nothing like that, but, you know, you just got to be aware that you have to understand what the woman is and what woman you're dealing with, okay? Because they're curious by nature. They're whimsical and capricious. So if not moderated, if left to their own devices, you know, they're gonna commit wickedness. It is what it is, you know. But understanding that helps you set boundaries. That's why the Most High put the man in charge in the first place, you know, to be the head, because he sets boundaries. He sets rules and regulations. You know, it's constraints. It's like, you're not about to do that. That's what the man is there for. The man is like, you know, and no disrespect to this analogy, no disrespect, but, you know, the man is essentially like the person who has control over their dog, right? The dog is fenced in, you know, he has boundaries. You know, you may be able to be running out in the backyard, do whatever you want to do. The dog is able to run around, have all the space in the backyard, but you still can't go past this point. Okay, you're still kept confined to a certain extent. Like, you have freedom, but if you're going to be living in this house, then you have boundaries. That's all it's about. You know, just establishing boundaries, and you know, they hit you with the damn, oh, he's controlling and this and that. Well, let me tell you something. Whenever they hit you with that, you tell them this: don't the job you work for, don't the corporation or company that you work for, don't they have some level of control over you? I mean, just with the whole process, right? There's a CEO, right? And he pretty much delegates tasks, rules, regulations of how his company wants to be ran, right? And when he hires you for a certain position, or when the manager, let's trickle down, when the manager hires you for that certain said position, he lays out the groundwork for the rules and regulations that's going to take place in order for you to get with this job, right? In order for you to participate in a paycheck and, you know, join this company, right? So why is it any different in a relationship? You know, relationships are businesses. Damn all that, you know, love is great. Love is cool, but, you know, love is loyalty and sacrifice. And, you know, a lot of the times a man's love is different from a woman's love. Okay. Like, a man has to be willing and is willing to risk his life for a woman. The woman is not expected to do that for the man. Therefore, your love is different. Okay, your love is predicated on what you can provide and what you can do. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. That's how it is. But you have to understand that dynamic. So you can't get caught up in the spell of love when they say, "Oh, I love you." Nah, I'll take respect over love. Straight up, I'd rather be respected than loved, because a woman can love you and still fuck you over. Okay, if she respects you, she's not gonna do that. And that's just the point, So when they say you're controlling, you just tell them, I just demand respect. You know your worth. Okay. And in turn, that honestly saves the woman from making a lot of dumb decisions. Not saying that women are smart, because they are, but a lot of the times they need guidance, and you need to be there. If you have wisdom, you need to be there to guide them from making the wrong decision, the wrong choice. And that's all it's about, as a righteous man, at least. Okay. Whenever they hit you with that, you tell them this: don't the job you work for, don't the corporation or company that you work for, don't they have some level of control over you? I mean, just with the whole process, right? There's a CEO, right? And he pretty much delegates tasks, rules, regulations of how his company wants to be ran, right? And when he hires you for a certain position, or when the manager, let's trickle down, when the manager hires you for that certain said position, he lays out the groundwork for the rules and regulations that's going to take place in order for you to get with this job, right? In order for you to participate in earn a paycheck and, join this company, right? So why is it any different in a relationship? Relationships are businesses. Damn all that, love, love is great. Love is cool, but love is loyalty and sacrifice. And, a lot of the times a man's love is different from a woman's love. Okay. Like, a man has to be willing and is willing to risk his life for a woman. The woman is not expected to do that for the man. Therefore, your love is different. Okay. Your love is predicated on what you can provide and what you can do. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. That's how it is. But, you have to understand that dynamic. So you can't get caught up in the spell of love when they say, "Oh, I love you." Nah, I'll take respect over love. Straight up. I'd rather be respected than loved, because a woman can love you and still fuck you over. Okay. If she respects you, she's not going to do that. And that's just the point, So when they say you're controlling, you just tell them, I just demand respect. You know your worth. Okay. And in turn, that honestly saves the woman from making a lot of dumb decisions. Not saying that, women are smart, because they are, but a lot of the times they need guidance, and you need to be there. If you have wisdom, you need to be there to guide them from making the wrong decision, the wrong choice. And that's all it's about, as a righteous man, at least. Okay. And this is another one of those topics that is very exhaustive, and you'll see as I bring out the scriptures, like the Bible, it has several scriptures detailing this and breaking down, essentially the wickedness of the woman and staying away from it, right? Giving you wisdom and understanding on how to navigate through that, because that was what made Adam fall. The woman is probably one of the biggest hurdles, right, in life, and you have to understand how to navigate around that. And that's what the Bible tells you about that. That's why it has so many scriptures pursuing that account of those instances, because that's usually how great men fall. Great men fall usually because of, they allow the woman to beguile them, or they allow them to, essentially control them, or they allow that falling in love dynamic to take place, which you end up idolizing and worshiping the woman when you do that. That's why it's called falling in love. You fall from grace. You fall from your place as the head, right? That's what it's called that. That way, when you fall from that place and the natural Godhead that the Most High has installed, once you fall in love with her, now you are on her level. Now, she can control you and dictate things to you because you're enamored. You're in this spell, all right? So we have to avoid that. Also, let me say this. Women are master manipulators. They're master manipulators. They have no equal, okay? They have to be, because they lack the physical strength that is needed to take things, take things that they want, right, to take over men. Because think about it, men, we have, that's why we're very straightforward and honest, because we know that we have the strength to back up, our beliefs, our words, etc. We have that physical strength. We're built that way. We're conquerors, right? Women, they deal in subterfuge, right? That's why the best spies are women, right? Because they're great deceivers, master manipulators, and they can tell lies like nobody's business, right? That goes into deceit, but I'm just iterating this point to you, how crafty they can be. And it's really because of Eve, what Eve did in the garden. She, a lot of the times, this Eve, or this quote unquote mother goddess spirit, right, this Ishtar spirit that these women have, they take on the attributes of the serpent, because that's how the serpent is. As a matter of fact, that's why the serpent went to Eve in the garden in the first place. He knew Adam wasn't going for that shit. He couldn't just go at Adam with that, or he would have been rejected on the spot. That's when he went to Eve, because he understood the nature of the woman. He appealed to Eve's narcissism, right? That's another thing. They say that men, at least in this day and age, the modern woman tries to point the finger and say that men are, these big narcissists and everything else. There's nobody on the planet more narcissistic than women. Straight up. Like, just look at what they do. They spend 2-3 hours in the mirror trying to get ready. They're in love with that damn camera. Like, their camera, their phone is their man. You are the side dude. Their phone is their man. Straight up. Like, they're in love with that camera. That's why they take all these, like, you look at all these Instagram thoughts. Just go on the Instagram page. You see it. I know y'all. Come on now, we see it. Thousands and thousands of photos just of themselves. So who's really the narcissist here, man? Like, they're in love with themselves. They're infatuated with how they look. That's narcissism 101. Okay, there's other attributes that tie into that, but like, there's nobody more narcissistic than the modern day woman. I mean, they're literally cutting into their flesh to look better, right? They're dying to look good, or like I said, what they perceive as looking good, right? I mean, there's no equal when it comes to this, man. This shit is crazy. Looking like whole ass ants out here. But that leads to self-esteem issues, right? And they have very low self-esteem. And that's why, because we're living in a society where it's just very sexually charged, right? It's high sexual energy, and it's for a reason. That's just how this wicked society was designed, as Babylon, right? But here you have it, the quote unquote sexual revolution, where these women are more free than ever. They can do whatever they want, yet the rate of depression among the modern day woman is at an all-time high. The rate of divorce amongst men and women is at an all-time high. It's about 80-something%, I believe. Why is that? Like, the correlation between whoredom, right, and societies has always been that you can mark the end of a society when the women are empowered. Straight up. And this is not to be, some quote unquote misogynist or whatever. It is what it is. But you look at ancient civilizations of old, and when they empowered women, that marked the end of society. Like, immediately after that, society circled the drain. Because when you understand what the woman is, you're essentially putting an emotional creature in power, when there needs to be logic involved, right? You don't make decisions off of emotionality, you make them out of logic. And when you make emotional decisions, you make the wrong decisions 9 times out of 10. That's all we have. That's all we have Biden, Sleepy Joe in the office right now. They don't realize that he's pushing and promoting all these demonic ideals, because they're trying to push pedophilia. That's coming around the corner. I hope people understand that and realize that. But, you have that skit that just came out with, quote unquote skit, with Tiffany Haddish and I believe the brother's name was Aries Spears. But they talked about, they tried to joke about pedophilia. Like, what they're doing is they're playing chess, and they're trying to program the masses and trying to hit you with the shock factor, so that way you're disarmed, right? And these things are not for us, right? People think that they're trying to persuade us. No, it's your children. They're going after your children. All right, that's how the programming works. They don't care about you because they know that you're going, eventually you're gonna die off. But if they just attack from each angle just enough, and I know I'm going off on a tangent, but if they attack each angle, meaning the what you listen to, what you watch, everything that you ingest, if they can attack you in every angle, your cell phones, I mean, we're on our cell phones 24/7, that's our lifeline now. So if they can attack every angle, every portal, right, then they can get your children to be brainwashed in this new age idealism. That's what it's all about. But getting back to the point, the modern woman, for the most part, it's no disrespect, but they don't have the mental fortitude or capacity to think about topics on a three-dimensional level. They just don't. They don't see these things coming, and that's why men are supposed to be in office and are supposed to be the ones leading, because when you have creatures who don't have the mental capacity to think on this level and to make decisions on this level, they can be controlled, man. They can be controlled, and it leads to their demise. They're being used. That's all that's happening. They're being led to their demise. They're thinking that they're free, but really they're more in slavery than they've ever been. They're more in captivity than they've ever been. They're not free. They are essentially imprisoned by their own lust. That's why they're, they hit 40, 50, 60 years old, and they're just unhappy as hell. They're on antidepressants. They're drinking themselves every night, playing with themselves. Like, they don't have a man. Like, that's why. Because they've allowed this modern day indoctrination to consume them, and they believe that, and they'll take that shit. They will not repent from it. They'll just sit there and they'll become bitter and blame men. Meanwhile, men have been trying to tell you this whole time what it is. So it is what it is. You have to let them be, let them die off. And the most important thing is men controlling your seed. Protect your seed, especially the so-called black men. Protect your seed, because when you stop dealing with these wicked women, they'll wise up. They'll wisen up. They'll realize, because we have the power. Okay, we just have to learn how to control ourselves. You have the power. You take it back. Stop dealing with this nonsense. Stop getting caught up in the baby mama drama, or as as brother Chronicles Judah put it, the dumb nigga drama. Right. So we have to stop getting caught up in that. And you're a grown man. You have to be able to control your seed, man. You can't control yourself. So the onus is on us. We have to stop blaming them. The onus is on us. We have to understand what they are. Don't get it twisted. We understand what they are, but it's on us. Okay, it's always on the man. All right. So let's get into some scriptures, because the Bible tells you these things ever so eloquently. They tell it better than I ever could. All right. Okay. This is Proverbs 11:22, and it reads, "As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion." All right, so the Bible's telling you right here that these women who have husbands at home, because sex is marriage, right? You have husbands at home, and you decide to go out in the streets, and live your hot girl summer, right? Go out with your whore friends, your thought friends, and go to the club or go wherever else, drink, and just be bewilderant and wayward women, right? The Bible is telling you need to keep your ass at home. You're supposed to be keeping your ass at home, man. If you got a husband at home, or a man at home, or just in general, right? Even if you don't, your ass need to be at home most of the time. That's why it says, so is a fair woman without discretion, right? These women are beautiful, beautiful women going out here in the streets, but even the Bible calls them pigs, calls them swine. Okay. Just because you're a beautiful woman, if you conduct yourself like a slut and doing whorish behaviors, you're a swine, right? So let's continue. This is Proverbs chapter 2, and we'll start at verse 10, and I believe we're going down to 20. And it reads, "When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee." Right. So when you decide to take on wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as your wife, right? Knowledge and wisdom needs to be your first wife. You need to be married to her, committed to her above all else, right? That's how it keeps you out of the snare of not only people, but women. Okay. So let's continue reading. It says to deliver thee from the way of evil man, right? From the man that speaketh forward things. Speaking forward things means to essentially lie, right? To speak very vain or pleasant lies, right? You know, as these politicians and other people do, they'll do what's called double speak, right? Double tongue, where they'll tell you one thing, but really they're saying something else for the initiated, for the people who are in the know, so to speak. So let's continue. It says, who leaves the path of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even the stranger which flattereth with her words. Right. So a lot of the times, these wicked women, they'll flatter you with words, right? You know, they'll say how good you look, or, you know, they use their tongue, right? They use like I said, that goes into the manipulation and deceptiveness. I know many of you have dealt with manipulative women who, while you're in a relationship with them, they'll constantly be flattering you, right? Tell you how good you look and you know, how you got it going on, and don't get it twisted. That's a beautiful thing. You know, you and your woman should be, you know, complimenting one another. That goes without saying. But when the woman is doing it in excess to manipulate you and control you, that's when you have a problem. Okay, so it takes it's nuance, and it takes the ability of discernment. Right, discernment is key. So let's continue. It says, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. Right? So that reminds me actually of a particular woman in Hollywood. What's her name? Erykah Badu. I almost forgot her name. Every man that has dealt with Erykah Badu has never been the same again. These men have been destroyed. Right? This is a wicked ass woman. She's a high level sorceress in Hollywood. But the Bible gives credence to that. You go into a wicked woman or a witch, you're not coming out the same, bro. That's why it takes discernment, man. She literally eats these men alive, like she eats their soul. Like she steals souls. She's Shang Tsunging it. All right. That's what she's doing. Okay, let's continue. It says, verse 20, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men and keep the paths of the righteous. Right, so that's the point. Continue walking in the ways of the righteous. You know, continue studying to show thyself approved by reading your Bible, staying to the word, you know, sticking to the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, sticking to that wisdom, that Sophia, right? Because Sophia is wisdom. That's your first love. That should be your first love as a man. That will keep you in the straightness, in that straight and narrow path, and prevent you from being beguiled by the woman, right? Because once you understand it, you know, and it's no disrespect, but women are like children, bro. They're like children, you know. And once you understand that, it makes it easier to maneuver, and you're not constantly surprised, or you're not caught off guard, because you understand how children think, right? You know, that's what women say whenever they say they can't do what a man does. Like, it's not fair. You know, that's what children say. It's not fair. They just want to be able to do what you want to do without the responsibility, right? Because men make it quote unquote easy, but they don't want the responsibility of doing what a man does. They just want to be able to do what you do. They want the fun in it, the pleasure in it, right? That's a child. That's childish behavior. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, this is Proverbs chapter 7, and we'll start at verse 4, and it reads, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. Right? So this brings credence to what I said earlier, which making wisdom essentially your sister, the closest thing to you, right? Your kinswoman, your blood, right? Your kinswoman or your kinsman is the closest thing to you, right? And that's why wisdom in the scriptures is likened unto a woman, right? Because of that nurturing aspect. As a matter of fact, in Ecclesiasticus, it's broken down that at first wisdom is very hard to say. Her ways are very hard to understand, right? You know, like a woman, you know, she's very hard to get. You know, she's kind of closed off because she's protecting herself. And then once you stay true to her, she opens herself up for you, right? That's how wisdom is. Once you stay true to wisdom, she opens herself up to you and she starts to nurture you and give you all those wonderful elements. That's why wisdom is likened to a woman, right? That nurturing, caretaking aspect. That's what wisdom is. It nurtures and takes care of you as long as you're staying true to her, doing right by her, right? So let's continue. It says that they may keep, verse 5, sorry, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger with flattereth with her words. Again, there you go with the flattering of the words. You need to be careful with that. Women will try to take you with their speech and their words, right? Their sweet words. Verse 6, for at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. She now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. Hey, brothers and sisters, like the Bible is talking about, these women for the streets. The Bible is the first book to say that these women are for the streets. It says she is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. Okay, so even the Bible told you these people to take, she for the streets. They took that from the Bible, man. The Bible first told you that these women are for the streets. Okay, so let's continue. It says, so she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me this day. Have I paid my vows? Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home, he is gone on a long journey. So she, right here, this prostitute, this whore, has told him, she's alluring him into her snare, into her trap, and she just told him that the good man is not at home, meaning what, her husband. So, man, y'all need to be careful out here. This is the Bible is telling you, right, to stay away from whoredom, because she's already trying to commit adultery, and you will be committing adultery by sleeping with another man's wife. Okay, that is why this is not permitted. Okay, it's very wicked. So let's continue. He hath taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield, with the flattering of her lips she forced him. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. So as it says here, with her much fair speech, right? She was saying all these things that he wanted to hear. She's probably looking good, smelling good. On top of that, attacking his senses, right? And she hit him with the soft, alluring voice, and probably rubbing and touching on him and all that shit. And with her first speech, she got him. She got him hooked into that spell. She ensnared him. Right? When a lot of women whisper in your ear, they cast spells on you. Okay. So it says he goeth after her straightway as an ox goeth to the slaughter. Right? Not knowing where. Not knowing where the hell he going, but he going, not even seeing the end, the bitter end that's coming, right? It says, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Right, so that dart striking through the liver, right, that gun, he getting shot, right, you getting shot up, because you do it with another man's wife, he comes home, finds y'all two in the bed, and next thing you know, you dead. Right, that's what happens, man. This is what happens. This is why you avoid shit like this. Okay, completely wicked woman. All right, causing confusion, just sowing chaos and disorder. Right, that's what the woman is galvanized by, chaos. Okay, so it says, "Hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye my children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways; go not astray in her paths. For she has cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her, that Jezebel spirit. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death." So again, the Bible has told you in 2 separate scriptures that the ways of the wicked woman are to death. You know, you dealing with wicked women, you will lose your life. Okay, simping for a wicked woman, simping for these Eves out here, you will die. You will lose your life, man. Straight up, they're not worth it. 90% of these women are not worth it at all. I don't care if she starts acting out and stops wanting to follow what you got going on. You know, as long as you're doing it in righteousness, she gotta go. She gotta go, or you're gonna go. Straight up. If you keep dealing with this woman, she's gonna bring chaos, confusion, and misery into your life. All right, misery, misery, misery. That's what you've chosen for yourself, right? Where's the Green Goblin? So you gotta vet these women, man. But there's a lot of scripture here, so we'll pick up in part 2. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. Hope you've received some level of edification, and stay tuned for the next one. All right, peace.